when you work in the trades, you're doing something that's very high value and highly sought after. That's very gratifying when you're done it at the end of the day. There's nothing more manly than putting in a good day's work and seeing the fruits of your labor. I was 18 years old and I ran a $90,000 business.
You're a man living in the modern world in a time when men and manhood are not what they once were. You live life on your own terms. You're self-sufficient. You think for yourself and you march to the beat of your own drum. When life knocks you down, you get back up because in your gut, you know that's what men do. You're a badass and a warrior. And on the days when you forget, we are here to remind you who you really are.
Welcome to the Sovereign Man Podcast, where we aim to make men masculine again. I'm your man, Nicky Ballou. We have a very special guest here for you today, Michael Cappa of Altona Painting, a champion for men doing skilled trades. Welcome, Cappa.
Hey, Nicky, thanks for having me. I appreciate being on.
Good to have you here, brother. So why don't you start by telling the folks a little bit of your story, especially as it pertains to the work that you do in the trades?
Yeah, absolutely. So I got my humble beginnings with painting way back when I was 15 years old. So at the time of this recording, I'm 29, and I've always been entrepreneurial in nature. And one of my paper route customers, when I was a teenager, he pulls me aside one day and he says, "Hey, I have a fence in my backyard that I need some help with. Would you be interested in helping me paint my fence this summer?" And I've always been open-minded and opportunistic. And I said, yeah, absolutely. Why not? So was I ever in for a whirlwind? We did this project during a heat wave. And
nice.
I had never, I had never painted before in my life. So this man was just giving me the complete rundown of everything and some context. This man is a civil engineer and he's super multi-talented in all the different trades and construction. So he had like the hands-on technical knowledge, but also the theoretical engineering knowledge. So having someone like that as a mentor for any trade, but for painting especially, was really, really great. So yeah, that time when we painted his fence, it was 2013, and I lost 5 pounds during the heat wave because of how hard we worked. And I came out of it like a novice / intermediate level painter. I went from never touching a paintbrush to now knowing how to power wash, how to sand, and how to stain a fence. And that kind of got me down this entrepreneurial journey. And when I was 18, I ran a student works painting franchise, and I was one of the top 10 rookie producers that summer.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 18 years old and I ran a $90,000 business.
No kidding. 18 years old and you ran a $90K business. So how long did you stay with Student Works? Because I know those guys.
Yeah, so I did that for one summer.
Okay.
So when I was 18, like we started in January and we finished the season at the end of August. So in that time frame, having never been an entrepreneur to that level in my life, I went from 0 to 90K in that amount of time, which I'm really proud of.
Amazing. So 18 years old, you do this. What made you decide that this is going to be your career?
So when I went back to school, I really thought critically and reflected, and I said to myself, do I really want to pursue this university degree, or do I want to just get to work? And I decided to stick with the degree, not necessarily because I felt pressure from my parents or society or like I had to, but more so just because I was interested in it and I made a commitment to seeing it through. And I'm glad I did. I majored in policy and communications with a minor in Spanish. So there's definitely been times when all those things have served me, even with my painting business. But I was traveling between third and fourth year. I was on an internship in Peru for a couple months doing a policy study with the NGO. And when I was working and traveling, I was like, man, this working and traveling thing is phenomenal. I loved every second of it.
Sure.
The light bulb moment went off and I said, okay, well, how do I build this lifestyle to get to do this. And painting was the first thing that came to mind that I knew how to be successful at, because I've had a track record of generating positive results with it. So the following year, like spring of 2018, while I was still finishing my last year at school, I started my painting business, Altona Painting. And from 2018 to present day, I've done over 2 million in sales, and I've empowered a bunch of young men to join my team who I've taught from scratch, and it's been awesome.
So you've got quite a company, and you're really pushing forward to grow it. And I know that in the last couple of years, you've despite Canada's less than perfect economic circumstances, you've still been able to manage some pretty impressive growth in your business. What has made you passionate about having men, young men in particular, start to get good at trades, at using their hands, as it were, to be able to do things, fix things, build things? Why is that important to you? Why are you pushing for this to become a thing again in the world? Because it's not a thing the way that it used to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this has definitely been a bit of a journey, and my thoughts around this have evolved. When I first started the business, I legitimately just needed manpower. I couldn't do all this work by myself, and I'm a very resourceful man. So I looked into my network and I handpicked a few of my friends who I thought, okay, I know they say never work with friends, but who are the friends I think I could work with at least for this summer? So that's how I started. I picked a few of my guy friends or man friends that I thought would be in alignment with my vision and my work ethic and would represent me and my brand well. And I think I made some good choices. Some not so good, but it's okay. We'll get down. We'll talk about that. But as I went down this journey of building my business and developing myself as an entrepreneur, one of the key things I realized was that I can't do everything myself. That's still a lesson that hits me to this day in different ways, but especially when I first started, I realized I can't do everything by myself on the tools. And because I chose to go the route of starting with young people and training them from scratch, that's what I did for many years. Was I would hire young men who knew nothing about painting, had never touched a paintbrush, and I, from A to Z, prepping, priming, painting, I taught them every skill, every step of the way. And, fast forwarding to now, of all the painters I have on my team, 2 have been with me almost from the very beginning. So I started in 2018, and one of my guys, he's been with me since 2019.
Wow.
And he can do everything now: prep, prime, spray, super fine detailed drywall work. And then another one of my guys, who's my right hand, he started with me in 2021, and same with him. I taught him from scratch. And what I've noticed in the character development with these men is that they were like me at the time. Obviously, we were much younger and we had a different mentality towards things. But as we've grown as men and friends together, they've seen me elevate with the different types of clientele I'm attracting and the different referral partners we're working with for our painting projects. And they've taken note of that, and they see the things that I've been doing in my life. And, I've been able to help them with cultivating a stronger purpose. And, when we go out for dinner every few months and we check in on things and see where the pulse is, just hearing them parrot back to me, these are my goals, these are my objectives. I'm really appreciative of your leadership and the things that you've created here, because I can create a lifestyle. And, just hearing from where they started to where they're at now, like, I'm helping these men build a livelihood. So that's very gratifying.
So that's what you're doing inside your business. But why do you think, like, at a macro level, this is something that a lot of men are ignoring, the trades? And what is it that you want to see happen for men in general, young men in particular, with respect to getting involved in trades?
Yeah, there's a few things happening. So number one, I would attribute it to high schools and guidance departments. And the reason I say that is because when I was in grade 11, grade 11 is the year that they start preparing you for post-secondary.
Right.
And colleges and universities look at your marks from grade 11 and 12 as part of your application. So when I was in grade 11, we went to this seminar with one of the guidance counselors, and I'll never forget it as long as I live because it made that big of an impression. He starts showing us these different graphs of what your life could look like if you went to college versus if you go to university.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically sold us on this idea that if you go to university, sure, you might indebt yourself from the beginning, but in the long run, you're going to make more money. Whereas if you went to college, in the long run, you might have a little bit less debt to start out, but in the long run, you'll make less money. So I think they incorrectly approached this because they just made it about money, not about what men or even just the students, men and women, they just made it about money. They didn't make it about what you're passionate about, what you're interested in. So
are they correct, though, in this day and age? I mean, do people care as much about a university degree? Because you hear people like Patrick Bet-David and even the late, great Charlie Kirk, God rest his soul, today's his birthday, when we're having this interview take place. They said that college is a scam, university is a scam. Don't do it. Don't go there at all. You can do better without going there and without indebting yourself to the tunes of tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you won't be indoctrinated by these woke left-wing idiots who are not teaching you skills that people actually value. Let's be honest. It's university today is not university 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. So what are your thoughts on that? Because I think they're lying to kids. Personally, I think they're lying to kids when they tell them you're going to make more money from going to university. I think they mean they're going to steal your money and put you in debt for a long time.
Yeah, no, I know it's a bold claim to make, but there's a lot of evidence supporting that argument, which I'm in full agreement with. I think there's definitely collusion and co-opting between post-secondary educations and high school educational boards to serve as feeders into the colleges and universities. And sure, if you're going for something specialized, you definitely need to be educated properly. But on the whole, I agree. It's not what it used to be. Now universities have they're supposed to be an institution of academic freedom and freedom of thought and the exploration of ideas. And they're not that anymore. They're just political silos and echo chambers for the radical left.
Yep. Woke left-wing ideology. And so young men, like if you're talking to men who are like 16 to 25, what's your message to them when it comes to the trades?
So I would say when it comes to the trades, we're men. We love to work with our hands. We love to see the fruits of our labor. The trades are very powerful because you're combining that mental and physical acuity to and peppering in a bit of creativity to create something of use and of value and something that's new for yourself or others to enjoy. It's a very gratifying thing. Like, for example, with me being a house painter, painting does so many things. It changes the look and feel of the room. It adds value to someone's home. It tailors the space to their vision and to their liking.
Yep.
Let's say you're an electrician and you're putting in fixtures that look super badass and modern. Or if you're a landscaper and you're creating these beautiful driveways for high-end clients to enjoy. Like when you work in the trades, you're doing something that's very high value and highly sought after. That's very gratifying when you're done it at the end of the day.
Yeah, you are. And if you're someone who sees that and you go into the trades. So here's what I see about the trades. If a young man has got ambition and he wants to maybe have his own business and he goes into the trades, whatever trade, drywall, construction, landscaping, plumbing, painting, he can go and apprentice for someone like you for 5 to 7 years, right? And really learn the business And then at some point he can start his own business. And if he goes and he learns business principles, which, I mean, people go, oh, well, you got to go to university to learn that. I don't think you need to go to university anymore. You can go learn business principles with something like Peterson Academy, which is $399 US a year. And there's a lot of universities that are putting those types of courses for free on apps, and everything like that's on YouTube. You can go curate your own university education on how to be a businessman, little mini MBA, okay? Or you can sign up for someone's non-university type training and learning, and you could start your own business, and you don't have to go, tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt to do it. You can actually start making money right away. Like my oldest son is 19, and he was going to go to university, get his kinesiology. I mean, he was accepted into Waterloo and Western, two good Canadian universities with good, reputations from their past glory years. He decided that he was going to work instead. He's been working for a year and 3 months right now. He's making money. He's not in debt. He's learned a lot about kinesiology, body mechanics. He's learned a lot about business, marketing, sales. He's learned a lot about exercise physiology. And I know it's not quite a trade in your definition, but it's still, he's doing something using his knowledge, and he's working with people to get them physically strong. I got to say, I support him. Like 20 years ago, I'd probably say, no, you got to go get a university degree. But I don't know that I'd say that today. And I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on that.
Well, first of all, hats off to your son. That's really great that he has taken the initiative to start his own personal training business, and it's successful. And most businesses
he's apprenticing for somebody. Okay, so he's business within a business. It's not his own business.
Oh, I see.
Within this other guy's business, but he still has to learn all these things as part of, like, I think his goal is as I said, he's another 5 years to start his own business, and I think that's good.
Yeah, no. Well, thanks for correcting me on that. But no, that's really great that he's going down that path. And it's I think we can boil that down to that the world is our classroom. And as important as technical and classroom knowledge is, because knowledge is never a waste of time, but I think just the approach and the avenue that we take to get to the end goal, I think it's Jim Rohn that says begin with the end in mind.
Yes, he does.
And if you're starting at a place where you're just jumping through a bunch of unnecessary hoops and unnecessarily indebting yourself, that doesn't really make any sense.
No.
There was a few other things I wanted to touch on from your previous question. So I think a trades business is a excellent vehicle through which a man can develop himself.
How so?
And there's a lot of ways. So number one, you're facing the public, and it teaches you to become a very effective communicator because you have to sell. People have to buy into your vision. They have to buy into your value and whatever wares you're selling or service you're providing. So it's a really great vehicle to teach you how to effectively communicate with people and provide that value. It's also a really great vehicle to become a leader and to create a culture that fits your values and surround yourself with like-minded people. Because I think maybe, I don't know, if I had to go back into the job market now, I'd have a very difficult time, because even though I'm fairly moderate or a little bit right-leaning with my politics, I think I would not fit in very well at a lot of workplaces. I like the fact that I've created my own workplace with my own culture, with, I have a multicultural staff. It has nothing to do with this diversity, equity, and inclusion nonsense. Like, everyone is there because they deserve to be there.
Yeah.
Right?
The way it should be, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Running a trades business is also a great vehicle because you build your network, and your network is your net worth. It's not just about who you know, it's not just about what you know, but it's also about who you know.
Yep.
And a lot of very successful people started with a trades business. Like, if you look at many successful people who now run tech companies, or I don't know, whatever multi-million-dollar company it is, if you look at their origin story, a lot of them started cutting lawns, painting houses, doing some sort of carpentry, or working in a factory. Like, I think running a trades-based business it's not the be all end all, but rather it's a springboard to success for your next thing.
100%, man. 100%. I wholeheartedly agree that are very large, right? They're multi-million-dollar trades businesses out there. There's men that have 10 million, 20 million, 27 million. 10 years ago, I worked with a fella named Paul St. Pierre, and he is out of Windsor, and he has a $27 million multidisciplinary trades-based business. So they do some crazy high-end landscaping and snow removal in the Windsor area. They got a lot of contracts around that, but they also do a lot of other trade-related stuff for cottage industry in that region as well. $27 million is a lot of money, man.
It's a huge business.
Yeah, it really is. So someone who wants to get into trades can do really well. And the beauty of it is fewer people are getting into trades, yet the demand for trade services is skyrocketing, if anything. Wouldn't you agree, rather than dipping? So what are your thoughts on that? Like, maybe you should get into that a little bit for the folks that are listening.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I've observed just in the 7 years that I've been in business is that the baby boom generation are retiring. And a lot of them actually already have retired, because that generation's on paper, they're from 1946 to 1964. So like a vast majority of them are already out of the workforce. Yeah. So this is a really great opportunity for young men to get in and fill those spots, because I work with a lot of, obviously I work with a lot of homeowners, but I work with realtors too. And realtors, they have their power teams that they use to prepare homes for sale. And a lot of their trades guys they use are all, especially painters, they're all like old Italian, Greek, or Eastern European guys, and they're all retiring. So this is a great opportunity for young men and young people in general to get into the trades and fill those spots, because we need them. Like, there's a big demand for housing. There's a huge labor shortage. I think in Canada, it's like 300,000 people. It's estimated we need just in construction alone. And I think in the States, it's about 600,000.
That's a crazy number, man. Like, so a young man today finishing high school or in university who's thinking, well, what should I do? Well, if you want to make money right away, you can go into the trades and make money right away. And the wages you can earn in the trades they're not minimum wage, they're good wages. And then at some point you can decide to start your own business and learn business skills, if that is how you're inclined to go. And if not, if you just want to keep working for somebody, if you're with the right company and you do good work with them, there's opportunity for you to progress and make more money. And if you have the opportunity to work with a company like you, I'm sure that if you have your tradespeople that work for you, if one of them says to you, hey, Michael, I'm gonna go bring you a couple of clients, will you give me like a referral bonus or like a client acquisition bonus if I bring in like a $20,000 job? I mean, you're going to go, yeah, absolutely. I'll give you a referral bonus if you do that, right? So there's opportunities for young men to go there and learn a skill that really makes you feel good about yourself when you use it, because doing something physical with your hands and seeing the result of it is very gratifying, very satisfying. So that's a confidence builder. And make good money right away without going into debt, and be on a track to be able to start a business. You agree with all that?
Yeah, 100%. And I think there's a lot of value in knowing what you want, but also in what you don't want. So for any young men listening to this, I would say, like, when I was in high school, I was experimenting with different trades. If one of my friends' dads ran a landscaping business, I'd go out for the day and help them dig ditches for fence posts or cut lawns. And that made me realize really quickly that although I could be good at this and I'm strong enough, I was like, I have no interest in being a landscaper. But then when I did painting, I was like, okay, I like this. I could see myself doing this. So I think you have to appreciate what goes into the other trades, but you also have to try everything out so you know what's for you and what's not for you.
So if someone is listening to this and they want to have a conversation with you, you open to doing stuff like that?
Absolutely.
So how does someone find you? What's the best way? Like on Instagram or email, or what's the best way?
Yeah, so the best way would be to reach out to me on Instagram. My personal profile is at underscore Michael Cappa. My business profile is at Altona Painting. And yeah, reach out to me there. I'm a wealth of information. I'd love to chat, and I love seeing young men win.
Love seeing young men win. That's a good title for the episode. I love seeing young men win. So, Kappa, you're a real champion for the trades. You built a wonderful business that you're continuing to grow, and kudos to you for doing that. And what you have to say needs to be heard by more young men, because too many young men see all this bullshit that's out on social media, Instagram and TikTok, and they think that's real. It's not real. It's crap. And they're selling you a bill of goods about the life they live. Many of them are lying flat out with what they have to say. And many of the others are at best embellishing hugely. The reality is the trades are an area where for the next 40 years, the demand for people to be able to provide these services is skyrocketing and is going to continue to skyrocket. The opportunities for jobs, for business creation, for wealth creation in the trades is huge. Again, for the reasons you stated, the baby boomer generation of trades people and trades business owners are retiring or selling off their businesses. And this has been going on for the past 10 years, and it's going to accelerate for the next 15. So all those baby boomer business owners and trades people are going to leave the marketplace, and that's a large number of people. Those positions, those businesses need to all be replaced. If anything, they need to be replaced, and there need to even be new businesses and new tradespeople coming, because the demand is soaring. It's not dipping. There's more people that need this because there's fewer people that have even the type of home handyman skills that would allow them to do some minor jobs around the house, minor home repair. So if you're a young man, money, 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 fulfillment, 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 and you're going to get out of the woke mind virus in universities by not going there. I mean, that's only to the good, Kappa. So I'll give you the last word.
Yeah? What do you want me to say on the last word?
Whatever you want, I'll give it to you.
What I would say to young men thinking about joining the trades is that whether you do it for the rest of your life or even just a few years, or you have it as a skill in your back pocket when your back's against the wall, getting into the trades is going to be one of the best things you can do. There's nothing more manly than seeing the fruits of your labor that nothing more manly than putting in a good day's work and seeing the fruits of your labor. I think too many men nowadays, I mean, I could definitely say I'm a little bit part of this because I grew up with the internet, but I grew up in the time pre-internet, post-internet. It was like the weird in between. But especially young men nowadays who all they've ever known is technology and the internet aren't getting outside enough, aren't exploring nature enough, aren't getting their hands dirty, quite frankly. We need more men to get their fucking hands dirty.
Dirt under the fingernails, eh, brother?
Hey, listen, the ladies love a man who knows how to fix things, so keep that in mind.
True dat. True dat. They do love a man who knows how to fix things. It's definitely an attractive skill set for a man to have. Cap, thanks for joining us today and sharing your point of view on the trades. And there's not a lot of folks who know about what you shared today and how big an opportunity this is for the next generation of young men. And I think this message deserves to be amplified far and wide.
Thanks, Nikki. Yeah, I appreciate that. And this is the beginning of my thought leadership on this subject area. So I'm gonna keep the mission going here and spreading the word. So thanks for giving me the platform here to do so.
Yeah, dude, my pleasure. And I appreciate you coming on and sharing what you have to share. It was an enlightening experience. I learned something, and that's always good.
Awesome. Thanks once again.
Yeah, you bet. And that's a wrap.
Thank you for listening to the Sovereign Man Podcast. If you're ready to take charge of your life and become the man you've always wanted to be, we invite you to join the movement at sovereignman.ca.